Nice intro for the morning. Fresh off a cold. Stay cold. Jeez. What up, Doc? You know, this gonna be the last one for like the next 2 years. Nah, I give it up. Caffeine Morning Show. Sticks.
AM Caffeine Show. AM Caffeine Show. What up? It's your boy DOC.
It's your girl Marlo J.
And DJ Smooth Mellow D.
That's how we get down. It's AM Caffeine Show. You know how we get down each and every Wednesday and Friday. Before we get into our very special guest today, I want to give a shout out, first of all, to Ralph Tresvant, who rocked with us. It was last week, correct?
Yeah, last week.
To Ralph Tresvant. And also, let me shout out to Marlo J. She's right now on her own personal expedition across the United States. She started in California, and she's now, where are you at, Marlo?
Or do we got a guess?
DC.
You're in DC.
Oh, sorry.
So you went
fun.
tell us your journey real quick.
I went from Los Angeles to Albuquerque to Dallas, Dallas to Jackson, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi to Atlanta, Atlanta to DC. And then my last stop is from DC to New York.
Wow. And you did that all by yourself, and you didn't get abducted? Because I didn't hear from you for a couple of days. And I know sometimes you start going down south through Texas, and you kind of dark chocolate with a big booty. So I was afraid a white van might have came and abducted you, but I see you made it safe. So that's great.
That was actually a concern. I kept on thinking, like, what if they see me and they identify me as a black woman? They like, we gonna just take her, and then they gonna like take their big trucks and they gonna block me in on the road, and then they gonna take me. And then last night when I was leaving Atlanta, I had to get gas, and it was like 4:00 in the morning, so it was still dark. But it was like 8 white guys just hanging out at the gas station, and I was like, oh no, not today, Satan. I was like, I'm out of here. I went across the street. I was like, nah. I know they probably was like, why is she leaving?
Right. Well, I'm glad that you made it safe. And today, very special guest today. So this is a show that I've been trying to make happen without exaggeration for about 4 years, it seems. Yeah. And what is crazy is one day I'm at the barbershop, and across the street from the barbershop is a donut shop. It's a 7-Eleven. It's like a little strip mall. Not even a mall, but just like a little strip center, right? So I'm going into the donut shop, and I see this, I think it was a taxi cab, pull up to 7-Eleven, and this guy gets out, and you just know when you see someone from New York, right? Like, New York just has a way that they walk. They just got this bounce. So he's kind of giving me the New York vibe, and he has his Timberlands on. It's like, oh yeah.
There you go.
New York, no question. So as I look, and I was like to myself, I was like, is that Father MC? Like, it just bugged me out that I'm seeing Father MC in a 7-Eleven in California. It was just weird as hell. So I've seen him like a couple times. I think I approached him one time, and he gave me some pleasantries. But New York cats, he don't got no time. He kept it pushing. He was doing whatever he needed to do. So through another friend of mine, we reconnected, and I was trying to help get his unsung. I was trying to pitch his unsung episode to the folks that do unsung, because I think he's one of those artists that you truly kind of, and it's not even being, you kind of forget. And then when you say Father MC, like, damn, like, what happened to Father MC? And you don't realize that he is really one of the pillars of Uptown Records. The first time that you really got an idea of who Jodeci was, the first time that you got an idea of who Mary J. Blige was because of Father MC. Definitely one of those artists that helped bridge the gap between R&B in hip hop, and I don't think that he gets the props and the accolades that he should. Today's on the AM Caffeine Show, and I'm giving it to him today, the one and only Father MC. So, Father MC, man, let me tell you, you already know we've been going back and forth trying to make this happen, dude. So I appreciate you rocking with us today, dog. How is everything?
Everything is good, man. Everything is good. I'm glad to be here finally, man. You know what I mean? Just things kept turning and turning and turning, you know, and I'm just glad to be here. And thank y'all for having me, man.
No, absolutely, man. A couple things first, and not even to start, trying to start the show out on a sour note, but we all know how important Andre Harrell is to this culture. Who first told you, like, what happened, like when he passed away? How did you hear about it for the first time?
How did I hear about Andre passing? Dang, that's a good one, because I was home, and the vice president, Jimmy Love Jenkins, from vice president of promotions at Uptown, had gave me a call, and I was like, get out of here. But I wasn't shocked, but I was hurt like crazy. And when I really found out, like, everybody was calling me, I just put the calls on forward, and I just went outside, man, because me and Dre's birthday was the exact same day, September 26th.
Wow.
So I like nature, you know what I'm saying? So I just went and zoned out, man, with me and the rocks and just the world in general. But I got a huge backyard, and I just sat in the corner, man, and I just was thinking, like, I wouldn't have none of this if it wasn't for this guy. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Not even the monetarily shit, just the friendship. Like, after Uptown, the friendship that was connected and blossomed was just more. We were friends when I was on Uptown as well. He was like a father figure, but a father figure, older brother. He accepted when he was wrong. He knew he was right majority of the time, the moves he made. So, Andre was that dude, man. And like you say, a lot of people don't give him, the flowers when they're here, but I think he was loved so much that he's just smiling. I've never seen him mad but once, and that wasn't even mad. He was mad for like 10 seconds, and that was it.
Wow, man. So let's talk about that, man, just your journey starting out at Uptown Records.
How did they find you? How were you discovered?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. So when I got kicked out of Brooklyn, the judge told me I could never, I was a bad kid. When I was
got kicked out the host.
You got kicked out the host.
Yeah, real shit.
As a child, you got banned from a borough.
They tried to hold me until I was an adult, and the judge made me plead guilty. After I pled guilty, I thought they was gonna do some rigmarole shit. And he said, they put me on an ACD 6-month probation. After 6 months, it leaves your record. And then they told my mom's, like, yo, he's kicked out of Brooklyn. Like, so that's where we had to move to Far Rockaway.
Wow.
In Far Rockaway, I started, I was rapping then, but I was, I started to get into it because now I'm in a whole nother borough. I don't know nobody. You know what I mean? So it's me, myself, and I. And I got brothers, but they was doing their shit, I was doing me. You feel me? We had different movements we was doing. And I got in Far Rockaway. I started making a name for myself. Then I went to the USA roller skating rink, had a battle, an MC battle. And Kwame had won the first year.
Wow.
They did it. And back then, like I said, I was bad. So I was always in Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, sneaking in Brooklyn and sneaking right back out because it gets caught, it was over. At the end of the day, I was going to the studios, and I started being known through the whole borough of New York, like the whole city of New York. And then I met Kirk Woodley. He was the A&R for Uptown at that point. And he was paying for me to go to studios, to go to different studios. That stopped me from paying, so I was cool with that. But he started making me change the words in my shit. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, nah, man. It was cool for a minute. I was like, nah, fuck that. I go on my own. So I went on my own. Then I met Dante Ross. He was the president of Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
He said, Father, I can sign you to Tommy Boy now, but I'm leaving. If you're an artist, so you want to come out. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Then he said, but I'm leaving. I'm going to Elektra. I'm going to become the president over there. But it's going to take me 6 months to get in. He said, but if you're willing to wait 6 months with me, I said like this. I said, and I kept the relationships open. So I got the contract from him. I got the contract from LL Cool J's mom, God bless her. She took me to meet Leon Cohen at Def Jam. Leon Cohen paid. I was in a independent record label, Stupid Fresh Records. Leon Cohen paid to get me out of the deal. Wow. So now I have like 6 contracts steadily of paperwork. I seen the way Uptown, Andre never wanted to work with me, never paid me no attention, nothing. So I used to be like, yo, Jerry, what's going on? And I used to see Albie Shore, I used to see Guy, everybody pulling up with Maseratis, Lamborghinis. Back then, I'm like, oh my God. Then this day, I saw Albie Shore dressed regular. 3 months later, I'm seeing his video out, and I'm like, these niggas just invented the new Elvis Presley. This nigga I remember we was outside of Uptown when it first started. It was in Brooklyn. And I seen Al get out of a limo. Now, before I seen him, he was jumping into some beat up car because he was just getting started.
Right.
And I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this guy from rags to riches. I saw it. And every time I seen him, he was elevating. And then next thing you know, I seen this nigga and he had on a jacket. And I said, yo, Al. I said, where'd you get that from, man? He said, oh, somewhere in London. I said, yo, how much that cost you? Oh, like 35,000, 45,000, I don't know. And I believed it. And then next thing you know, the shit that did it for me is when he got out the limo. He was getting into the limo. And it was a school across the street. And it was nothing. It was a girls' Catholic school. And all you saw was these girls running to this dude. And I'm like, this nigga is the new Elvis Presley. Dude. I went and got the contracts. I came back to Uptown. I'm like, look, I'm here. Andre, they was playing this record I made. It's called It's Time to Go Prom. So I'm standing near the door, Bob Celestin's right here and Steve Lucas and all of the Uptown staff at that point right there. Dre busts through the door. I'm standing right here. The door is right in front of my face. And he's like, yo, who's that? Yo, Money, who's that? And they said, yo, that's that black dude you always say is Father MC. He's like, get that nigga on the phone. I'm signing him today. So they said, well, he don't got to get on the phone. He right there. So I came from under the door. Dre gives me a grand. Now, this is Friday night. A grand back then, right? Even right now is good. But a grand back then on a Friday night to a 20-something-year-old kid that ain't got to go out there and hustle is money.
Right.
Well, he said, if I don't beat these contracts, keep the $1,000. You don't owe me anything, and we'll manage you. So at least I was like, damn, I got the best of both worlds. I get managed, and I got $1,000. Because ain't no way in the hell I knew he'd beat Tommy Boy. I knew he'd beat Elektra, but I didn't see him beating Sylvia Rome, and I definitely didn't see him beating Def Jam with Leon Cohen.
What were those numbers looking like? What were the advances? What was it looking like, the numbers?
Well, I was part of the movement of starting bidding wars.
Okay.
When they came. I was one of the first artists a rapper out of New York that had a bidding war. So when they came, they gave me a lot of dough. I didn't understand it, but I was cool with it.
It's a lot.
Yeah, at the end of the day, but that dough, you think it's so much dough, but you feeding everything. You paying for it.
Right.
You paying for that studio. I'm paying for y'all to eat lunch. If y'all order some shit, y'all paying y'all liquor bill, your weed, whatever money, whatever you doing. So And then I'm paying the production, the producers, the engineers. So while people in there smoking and playing pool and all of that, you're paying for all of that.
Right.
So on the first
Did you
album,
understand that? Did you understand the business from that perspective? Did you understand that this is my budget, but out of this budget, I have to take care of all those things? Were you taught that?
I didn't understand that per se, but I knew about it. But I understood I wanted my money after whatever I didn't spend on the album. I wanted it to come back to me.
Right.
It never did though. But it never did. But I got my first advance, and then I said, "Yo, the album's done. You get your second advance once everything's turned in." And I never forget Dre said like this: "You went over it, money." And I was depending on that second advance because I went nuts. And then next thing you know, he called me up and he said, "Yo, come to my office." I came to his office and he just cut me a check. He cut me a check for the second advance. He says, "I'll put that on the second album." Yeah, that's how the type of dude that dude was, man.
Wow.
I mean,
that's dope.
If Dre didn't mess with you, he didn't mess with you at all.
Right.
He just be like, "Get this," because Uptown had its own talk, its own dress code. We had our own everything. Like when I be like, "Yo, my man," like that's how Uptown talked. Like every girl at Uptown. If you worked at Uptown, you'd be a bitch around 3,000 times in that day. But you had to get it to understand it's not a bad thing. Like, this bitch is retarded. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then the girls start talking like that. And you got to understand, no disrespect to the women, but you got to understand the strongest women now that are in the entertainment field came from Uptown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're lawyers. They're big lawyers. Because we have this thing now called, me and the president, Jimmy Love Jenkins, we started this thing called Uptown Beyond. So we have a podcast where we're interviewing everybody from Uptown, the workers from Uptown, and then we're interviewing everybody that has something to do, from radio to the people that are interviewing to now we got Puffy that Diddy co-signed it. We have all of the artists, the other artists, like the stars, the television stars, the actors that affiliated themselves, like Demi Moore, Brad Pitt. We have them on the podcast that's coming. So it's Uptown Beyond. So it's not only the music side, because we had a television movie side to Uptown as well. So we're interviewing all. That's why it's Uptown Beyond, because it goes way past Uptown, and it's just Dre's life. And then we got offered, the movie, the three miniseries is coming out, but this is an avenue for all the artists to tell their stories. So we getting all the artists, and Jimmy Love, he also is partners with the Hughes brothers. They're doing the Tupac Shakur, him and his mother Afeni Shakur movie as we speak. They're shooting as we speak. And then they're doing the Marvin Gaye film after that. And we're up to, like, they want to, after the podcast, they want to check it out and see how, the podcast does. And then they're very interested in the Uptown. And we get to tell, the artists get to tell their stories.
Right. Right.
So we get to tell the truth, while the miniseries is going to be, you can't tell a story about people you don't know.
Right. Wow, that's dope that Dre did. Dre did all of that. Go ahead, Marlo.
What's your position with with Uptown Film or Uptown Movies?
The only thing good about that is you can't knock me out, because I've been in every building. Every building that Uptown had, I was signed. I was in. You know what I'm saying? So, me, when Puffy danced and treat him like you want to be treated, it was so funny, because I wanted to dance, and that's why you see me in the silhouette in the back. But then he was like, "Look, my man, just go in the back and dance. We're going to make it gas me up."
He's like, "I want to dance."
But you know what's so crazy? He could really get down. Like, Puff can really dance, man. Like,
oh, no, absolutely. I was about to greet you with the routine, because I know the routine.
Do it. Let me see. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's funny. Because when I went back,
let me see.
I went back. I hadn't seen the video in a minute, So I watched it last night, and I was like, oh, snap. Like, Fendi, who was one of my favorite dancers.
Fendi from Edgewood. BPMD.
Exactly. Rocking with Puffy. Then you had Shane in there who was rocking.
Shane.
You know what I mean? So
What is
I was
your
like,
problem?
wow.
You're a dancer stalker? Why are you not a dancer?
Because I was a dancer, but I was here.
You're
So
also a dancer stalker.
I knew all the dancers. So seeing those folks at kind of like at the beginning of their career and how they got their start really from you introducing them. And I think people kind of forget about that because wasn't that the first time we're really seeing Jodeci? Wasn't like that
the very first time you seeing Jodeci, I put Elise O'Neal in One Night Stand and in Lisa Baby video. Gave her like straight up, like in Lisa Baby, you just look at the video, that's Elise O'Neal. Boom. And then in One Night Stand video, Elise O'Neal. Like I just knew, for some reason, I just knew God put it on me to know, like, yo, dude, they gonna win. They're gonna win. Be a part of this. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And Jodeci, I used to go down south when I got kicked out of Brooklyn. My moms and pops was like, yo, we sending this nigga down south every summer. We sending this nigga, we getting this nigga out of here. So I used to go down south all the time and, try to, rob them little niggas out there.
Get kicked out of down south
with like new sneakers, like try to,
get kicked out of a whole region of the U.S.
They go to school in August. We go to school in September. So while they at school, I'll be trying to get in their crib, take their new shit and bring it back with me. I was bad, man. I was crazy. So Jodeci.
He was a robber.
Yeah, I was bad. I was bad. I ain't gonna front.
It was like they were at school, and I was like, I know you guys are at school, and your mom's at work. I'm gonna go ahead and
let me get that.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing that was crazy, I was trying to get their records. They had like those records. They had the little 45s, and I was trying to get them to bring them back in the suitcase. It was crazy. But Jodeci, I remember we were in Rock Hill, and Jodeci was in Charlotte, and they had the Haley brothers. Mm-hmm. So they used, they were kind of like not big, but if you had a family that was in church, they knew about in the South. Mm-hmm. And I saw these little niggas, singing, and they were beautiful. They were like, when you heard the first time you ever heard Candy Girl, you was like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. That's how I was with Jodeci, the kids. So I knew them coming up, I knew of them coming up. So at the end of the day, when, Albie Shore, found them and told us about them, and he said, the Haley brothers. I said, the Haley brothers. I know that it can't be. It just can't be them.
Right.
When Jodeci showed up and their car broke down. This is such a story. It's crazy. Literally drove all the way from Charlotte to New York to Brooklyn, and the car breaks down in front of Uptown.
Wow.
That you can't even write that shit.
Right.
And the car breaks down. Dre getting ready to leave. Next thing you know, Dre hit these cats. Louise, set up a hotel. Let's start get Kenny, get the lawyer on the phone. Come on, we signing these cats now. Boom. That's how that went. It was crazy.
Wow.
And I mean, for you to get a car to break down, you don't even care. Or you getting signed and you go into the Waldorf Astoria. You young. You got on church shoes, socks. You country. You don't really know what's going on. And then you get in New York flavorized. Sybil Phoenix and Misha is taking you shopping. You don't know what's going on. Uptown used to kill brothers. Like, oh my God, what's going on? This is killing me. You're getting new shoes. You're getting somebody putting your shoes on, somebody putting your shirt on. But you're like, oh shit, what's going on? Take it. And you loved it. Man. So, and then with Mary J, Mary was so low key. She was so beautiful. Her soul was just pure, and she was a diva since she was a kid. You get what I'm saying? Like a diva. Like, I ain't doing that shit. Nothing impressed her. Like, I remember we was at this radio station in Texas, and it was a big radio station, but it was a barn. Like, you had to perform in like a barn, literally. And I'm looking at the thing, and I'm like, man, that's mud. shit, I just got my new Timbs. It's mud. I ain't doing this shit. So I tried to be fly. I ain't doing this shit. And they said, yes, you are, money. Yes, you are. The rec company said, yes, you are. I said, all right. So we ended up doing it.
Yes,
because, you know, you knew at this point. You knew at this point. So you were a little still, you know, and the star didn't really hit all the MC yet. You know, I was new. So I was saying, and Mary was new too. But Mary was like, I'm going to take me back to the hotel, money. She went back to the room. She went back to her room, didn't come out until it was time to fly out. And that man was so mad, the program director, like, I'm dropping everything. I'm dropping all the Uptown records. I'm dropping all the MCA records. That's when it became serious. You can drop Uptown, but when you drop MCA, the parent company, because it was Uptown MCA, you know, MCA gave Dre the money.
Right.
Dre was calling, everybody's calling me, get that bitch on the stage right now. She was like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not stepping in mud. The record, she didn't do the show.
Wow.
The record went number 1.
Wow.
And they never dropped the record because the record was too hot.
Right. They had no choice. They couldn't.
All the competition in the market, they was like, shit, y'all drop. That makes us. They make everybody want to hear it from us. So I seen the most diva shit come out of Mary, and she wasn't even trying to be. It's just that was that New York shit in her. That, like, I ain't doing.
I mean, they could put some wood down or something. God. At that
point, you got like 25,000 people in the audience. Like, it was outside. You ever saw that movie? What's that movie? Stir Crazy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
When they had to go under and try to break out of jail.
Oh,
yeah.
It was something like that. It was something like that. It was crazy. It was crazy, man.
So after the success, because I think your first single and second single, that went number 1 on the rap charts, I believe, right? They both went number 1.
I'll Do For You sold up the rap chart for a year.
Wow.
Number 1. Treat 'Em went number 6. I'll Do For You went number 1. And after the first album, you know, after Treat 'Em took so long. I was on Treat 'Em for like almost 8 months because we had so many remixes because the album wasn't done.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So Dre just threw it out because he wanted to get it out because it's Fall MC and Jodeci. I got to get this shit out.
Right.
The album wasn't done. We were planning on, you know, doing the album while Treat 'Em was, but Treat 'Em just went like this. As soon as it went up, it just went up.
Mm-hmm.
And every day I'm in a different state doing a promotion for radio. So I couldn't finish. Then they start trying to have me in different states or cities in studios, and that wasn't working.
Right.
Because every time they book sessions in studio, like let's say in Detroit, Chicago, the studio would be waiting for me, but I'm on somebody's stage.
You gotta leave. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. And it was wasting money for the producers, flying them out, getting them hotels. So they just said, we're going to take a 2-week hiatus and Father going to finish this album.
Mm-hmm.
How I'll Do For You came with Mary, it wasn't even supposed to be. I'll Do For You originally was with Dave Hollister. And it wasn't with To Be Real, the sample. That wasn't behind it. Dave Hollister, we had our own thing, I'll Do For You. And next thing you know, Dre said, I'm calling the producers back to make sure we don't run into the same problem with Treat 'Em Like You Want to Be Treated.
Mm-hmm.
One day I go to his office and he's sitting down, and he always used to sit down and have his head down. And you know he about to change some shit because his head would be down, he'd be thinking, and he's like, we're not going with Dave Hollister joint. And I said, yeah, what we doing? He said, we going with the Mary J. Blige remix joint. I mean, that's going to be the single. I was like, let's go. He took that record, and that record did exactly what he said it was going to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you end up with the name Father MC?
When I was in junior high school, you know, it is a story. I was in junior high school, and the school was salty, man. It was crazy, man. So I'm in school and shit, and now I'm in Queens because now, you know, they kicked me out of Brooklyn.
We got
kicked out.
So this is the craziest shit, though. My dad comes to the school. This is crazy. It was like I thought I was gonna get 2 ass whippings in a row. My dad comes to the school. Now I done got kicked out of the class. And they were so mad at me, they put me in another class. So I'm seeing my dad, you know, I'm at the bottom, the back of the class. I'm seeing my dad walk past the class. I'm like, oh shit. He going to the other class. So my dad comes home and tells my mother, Tim is doing great. He's so smart. The lady transferred him to another class. So I think I'm good. Then they send my mom's a letter, you know, Miss Brown, we like to take, you know, we're taking a couple of students over to Maine. So, you know, so I'm saying, you know, when they said something about for our education and shit, right? So I'm thinking like, you know, they said the smart kids. And I'm like, damn, they done fucked up because I know I ain't supposed to be on this bus. At the end of the day, I'm seeing, but I got smart. I was thinking, I'm looking at everybody that's going on the trip. I'm seeing all the niggas that used to get in trouble with me. So I started putting two and two together. Something ain't right. So, all right. And they had the girl and they had the guys. It was like 50 of us on this bus from New York to Maine, Bath, Maine. Man, when we get to Maine and we get to past, like, you get ready to roll into the thing, man, why you see the kids doing jumping jacks?
Oh.
They done signed us up for jail. So we going to jail. They got the women's prison, the women's dorm. They got the guys' dorm. I mean, you talk about Bath, Maine.
Oh, some scared straight.
It was a school for the worst kids in the world. And all the kids from like Australia were there, like London, Paris, everywhere at that school. Bath, Maine, Hyde. I'm telling you, it was they had a girls' dorm where we used to sneak to the girls' dorm. It was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. It was the best times of my life. So I had fun because we was you in a facility of bad kids doing bad shit.
Right. You were in kiddie jail and you thought it was great.
We thought it was great. Yeah, because I you know, the girls sneaking in the girls' dorm, you know, and I'm under the bed. And I'm getting ready to hit this chick off. And the next thing you know, the teacher walks in and shit. And I'm like, oh shit. And you can't jump out the window because the shit is so high that you're gonna break something. So I'm like, oh my God.
So you said, no, actually, I'm her father. Father MC.
No, so check it out. So check it out. So I go, you know, after the school, we go back to Queens, like after the summer. And before the school opened, they had this thing we had to register. So it was the 5% Nation. And they, you know, 5% Nation guards, they call themselves guard, like, you know. So father. Now I'm in the summer school program. And the teachers, I was likable. The teachers would say, yo, father, you know, they call me. So I'd be like, yeah, what's up? The first day of high school, oh my God. All the 5%ers are in the hallway and they building. They like, yo, you know, doing their mathematics. And next thing you know, you get beat up. For real, you get beat up if you don't know your mathematics or you playing like you 5%. Right. So I'm walking down the hall. I see the cooking teacher. Oh my God, Miss Lewis to this day. And she says, hey, father. And I try not to look because all the 5% is right there. And then I turned around and I said, hey, how you doing? She came to me and said, now, don't forget to come to the class. I said, okay. Next thing you know, peace, God. Peace, God. Peace, God. Peace, God. I'm like,
what's your mathematics? You know your mathematics?
I said, yeah, exactly. And I said like this, I said, man, I'm from Brooklyn, man. I'm just here, man. My name is Father, and I ain't have a problem with it out there, and I ain't gonna have a problem with it out here. And if we can have, and then they test me though. You know, they had dudes at the school from Redfern Projects in Queens. They had them at the school. I beat the kid up though, and this kid came from Rikers Island. That was a jail in New York, like one of the most dangerous jails in the world. And he came, and I beat his ass up crazy. It was because he was mad I was banging his sister. So anyway, they said, you know, they scared me. They scared me like, yo, tomorrow you don't come to school. I had to fight him again that next morning. I had to beat his ass again the next morning. So this time we in the dean's office because they come to get us. He's almost getting arrested because he was he was on the property, but he was so lumped up it was crazy. So they came and got me. I'm feeling better because I done whipped them twice. And at the end of the day, we sitting like apart like this from each other. And I'm just sitting there like this. And he said, like, he made me feel so good because he said, what? He's the nigga from jail. And he says like this to me, yo, you think you big because you got a little weight on you? I'm like 65 pounds looking at me like, oh, you think I'm big? I'm like, he should have never said that. And then they asked me while we was fighting, and I told them, they asked me that I wanted to get him locked up. I said, no. He said, yo, we're going to shoot a fair one. He kept threatening me. So I said, all right, I ain't no snitch. I ain't going to tell him, get him locked up. I went downstairs and called Brooklyn. Brooklyn had that high school so surrounded.
You called Brooklyn. You called high school. My cats will tell you.
Called the whole damn
whole city, huh?
I called
they showed
Brooklyn.
up like
they
Decepticons.
showed up. They showed up. Trust me.
They showed up like Decepticons.
They had
you know what? We're running it.
They had every door in that high school cornered. Like there's no getting out.
Right.
There's no getting out. And they had it. And when you coming out the main entrance, all you see is cars and bad rough cats just looking like weird. What's up? What's up? Now, and he's in the middle of it with his like 6 dudes, and Brooklyn is surrounded this dude, and he don't even know it. He's just waiting on me. He don't even know it. Next thing you know, I get up and my cousin say, "Yo, there you go. Yo, fam, what up, father?" I get out. They said, "Y'all, they made us shoot a fair one," and they said, "This gonna be it. This is gonna be it." And I said, and they said, "You ready, cuz?" I said, "Let's go. Let's get it." Did it. I ain't have no problems. That's the only beef I ever had in Rockaway. But that's when everybody started knowing Father MC. They started knowing Father. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I think you made your point. I think you made your point known when you had the whole Brooklyn show up.
Yeah, right.
Yo, real shit. Like that's what cats.
Wait, no.
I just did an interview with my cat in Brooklyn, and he brought that story up. Like, do you remember when we was in high school? He brought that up, and I was like, wow, like that's how crazy people still remember stuff, man.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm from the Midwest, and I know on the West Coast you don't want no issues with the 60s, and on the East Coast you don't want no issues with Brooklyn.
Right.
Immediately.
Man.
Wait, I need to know. Were you a Decepticon?
No.
You just had a borough full of guys that were ready to go wherever you are.
I had my cousins. My cousins was huge in Brooklyn. So that's why in Brooklyn I thought I could do everything I wanted to, because I didn't have no backlash. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy, because you have all these cousins in Brooklyn that were big deals, and they probably were horrible, probably were really tough guys. But you the only one that got banned from a whole borough.
Because I'm the only one that got caught, because I was doing stuff by myself. I never involved nobody in nothing I did.
Wow. That's correct. That's a funny story.
So somebody just gave you the name Father.
No, I was Father, and I used to spell it so dumb. That's how dumb it was. Farther.
Farther. I'm done.
Like farther. Like that.
Let me out the Friday.
I heard you was just in Atlanta?
Yeah.
I'm leaving to go to Atlanta Thursday. That's crazy. I'll be in
Atlanta. You doing the show in Atlanta?
No. I gotta go with the Uptown Beyond. We're going to get the editors out there, and we're gonna start editing.
Y'all doing it everywhere. Y'all just everywhere, huh? You know, if y'all need somebody to, treat them like they, if the guys aren't available, I can do that. I'm just saying.
So, Father, after the success of the first album, the second album comes out. You have Jodeci once again. What's the reception of that second album, and did you feel pressure to outdo the success of the first album?
Man, I to be honest with you, I was in Queens, and now I'm Father MC, and I'm in Queens, and I was going to the barbershop to get cut up, and I remember hearing these kids I went to school with, 2 kids walking to the train station, and I heard them say the first album was luck. He ain't gonna do it on the second album. So that's what stayed in my mind on my second album. And I was in the beginning of starting the second album. And every record I tried to make, go. Like, go. I wasn't, because everybody would scare you with the Southmore jinx and all of that BS.
Right.
At the end of the day, I was just trying to make joints. And when I called Mary, I said, Mary, we're going to do this again, but we're going to do it a little different. I took her to Eddie F, and we did One Night Stand. And a lot of people don't know that's Mary singing, like, oh, you want for me is one. That's Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, yeah.
And when we took the record to Andre Harrell and said, yo, check it out, it was a go. It was like, we were in LA. We came out here. We was at the MCA building, and we were going to shoot the single Affection as the jump off for the second album. And Dre was in MCA building looking at the mountains and shit. I go up there. We got the video crew out here. We got the dancers, Big Les, Fatima, everybody out here getting ready to do the video. And Dre said, like, again, he says, you gonna go to the hotel and go pack. I said, pack for what? We here. He's like, we're not gonna shoot Affection. We're gonna go back home and we're gonna go uptown and we're gonna shoot One Night Stand. I'm like, serious? He says, yeah. I said to myself, Dre, we got the film crew here. We got half of Uptown here. We got everybody. And he's like this, I don't care. He made the call, everybody get on the plane, start packing up. It's time to go back home. We went back home and we did One Night Stand, and that was the best move I think Dre made.
Wow.
The best move he made, because you talking about doing 9 million records, and you trying to top 9 million, and then you come and when you top it, you don't top it, you damn near meet head to head with it. It becomes a little thing of, damn, this shit is, it's like you got your core fan base. You know?
How was the so at this time now you're father MC, you got a claim and everything. How was your relationship with the other artists that were on Uptown? Because I'm sure now everybody, because Uptown was so hot, was there any, like, did you feel any animosity or anything from any other artists? Was it like a family? You know, how was your relationship with everybody else, your peers?
Well, everybody, the thing good about us with Uptown is everybody had a hit record, damn near at the same time. So you didn't have time to be mad, because we'd be on tour together.
Right.
Me, Mary, and Jodeci stayed on tour. We stayed on tour with each other. We stayed. Like, it's always, in Mary will go out, or Father will go out, or Jodeci will go out. But the main tours was Father, Mary, and Jodeci. And then we Little Sean was on Uptown management. So it would be Little Sean to open up, and it depends on what markets that we were in. Me and Mary would switch positions, you know. And Jodeci were always the headliner, the closer. But it never was no animosity, man. I mean, it never was like front deck. You get what I'm saying? Like all in your face. It was never. Right. There was never no animosity. You didn't have time to, because you was having too much fun and you was getting money. So you didn't have time for all of that other type of stuff that was going on,
Right. What was the involvement, or where were you during the time when Uptown did that collaboration with MTV? And it was Jodeci. I know that Christopher Williams at one point was a little upset because they kind of switched some of his song selection, and Mary. And where were you at in the midst of that?
I was a matter of fact, I was having a ball, because that's when Michael Jackson and them came after me. So Frank DeLeo, that's how Frank became my manager. Frank DeLeo.
Wait, so Frank DeLeo, who used to manage Michael Jackson, was your manager at one time? Yeah,
from my second album and on. He came for me. He saw me perform. I performed, I think, in Seattle. And he saw me and we destroyed it. He tells the story, well, God bless him. He told the story like, he came to New York, and he came like some mafia shit. That's the crazy part. And when he came, the way he came, and he had these two white guys that was huge. And they had on these long trenches, like some movie shit. And he came to my management company, and next thing you know, I was Fall MC, Frank DeLeo management. And gave me a deal on top of being on Uptown, gave me another deal. And I mean, crazy. Frank DeLeo wasn't nothing to play with.
You about $2 million in right now in deals. So Did you meet Michael?
Yeah. I gave Michael, they hooked it up where on the Soul Train Awards, me and Silk, I was the first rapper to give Mike an award at the Soul Train Music Awards. Silk, and I'm standing on the stage. I want to see the footage so bad, and I can't. I don't know where to get it, but Silk, they, that's when he had the wheelchair, and we backstage, and you seeing animals, like big animals, elephants, and in the back, and everybody screaming like, move, 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 and I'm back like, what the hell going on? Next thing you know, you seeing zoo masters like making sure the animals come. Michael's in a damn wheelchair with that gold and black jacket being wheeled to the stage, dude. And we had to, it was crazy. I'm telling you. And me looking at Mike, I remember looking at him like, oh shit, like I'm here doing this. I didn't even realize. And if you look on the stage, on the tape, I was like, oh, Michael Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. It was crazy. I was in awe. Like, I totally forgot. I became a fan. I became the Fallen Sea fan all over again. Like, holy shit. Like, what's going through my head? And I remember one of the guys in Silk, like, hit me a little bit. Like, I'm like, yo, Michael Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Who are you? I'm Father MC. Oh, Michael Jackson. That's Michael Jackson, though.
And I'm saying to myself, the power that this dude had.
Right.
You could hear about it, but to physically see, man, I knew it was real. I knew it was real when we was at Hit Factory in New York, and the Hit Factory, before Mike even went to contract, the Hit Factory, Mike said, Hit Factory got rumored that Michael Jackson want to use it. If you look at the record cover, Fiendin' from Jodeci, that's the elevator shaft at the Hit Factory with Michael Jackson. They built the whole B wing for Michael. The whole wing, a studio for this man. That's how crazy it was.
Wow.
That's how crazy it was. And he was so down to earth. It's crazy.
So you have had conversations just with, like, did you ever have one-on-one conversation with just you and Mike?
Yeah.
What were those conversations like? Like, what would you talk about?
I'll say a joke, like, here and there. And then, because sometimes my mouth, I'll curse, and Mike was cool. You want to meet Michael Jackson? Go to Teddy Riley. Just go talk to Teddy. Hi, how you doing? Real soft spoken. Yeah. That's it right there.
I always hoped that Michael was really like, when he wasn't in front of people, that he was like real hood, like, yo.
Nah, Mike was really, I called him a genius because you had to be a genius. He knew what was going on. He stayed abreast of everything, but his records, like, no matter what people said about him, he was doing something right because all those hits he kept coming with. And right. Mike, and then he went and got Fatima, Les, Marilyn, and all of the girls from New York to dance. And do you remember? Remember the King Tut when that video?
When they did Remember the Time. Yeah,
remember the time? He got all of them, the hottest girls in New York that was in everybody's video at the time. He went and got them and pulled them, come on, be in my video.
Right.
And put them front stage.
He could have got me too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and you piggybacking off of you talking about the dancers. So now let's get to your third album, and you have 69 that was produced by Teddy Riley, which is my favorite Father MC record. And in that video, you had Big Les, and I forgot.
Here we go.
I remember, like, I've been in love with Les. I've been in love with Les since then. You had Fatima was in that video. So these same dancers that you're talking about was in the 69 video. And was that the first time that Teddy Riley produced the record for you?
Yeah. I wasn't ready for Teddy. Like, the first album, definitely wasn't ready for him. Second album, me and Teddy was getting to know each other, and I, was a fan to them, and they treated me like a little brother because they saw me coming up in the ranks as I saw them when they were doing it. And then I remember we was at a seminar, and I went to Teddy, and I was like, yo, Teddy, man, I'm getting ready to start my third album. What's up? I'm ready, baby. What's up? He was like, okay, get your people to get in touch with my people, and let's go. It was a wrap. Went to Virginia, and I didn't like 69, to be honest with you.
Really? That beat is banging.
I know. I mean, it used to kill me because when I went home to write it, I went home to write. I played around with girls. I didn't have time to write. It was nothing on my mind. I went back to Teddy. I ain't write nothing. We had the last day, we had to come back home. Butt Naked Tim Dog, the A&R at Uptown at that point. We in Virginia, and they said, look, we're going to go to the beach. We're going to rent some jet skis. We went, they had Hampton. All the girls from Hampton came out. And I had a notebook, and I'm sitting on the sand with a radio. And I just had the beat playing. Doo, 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 doo. And Teddy, I remember Teddy said, just write what you feel. And I was like, I want to hit you with a 69. I got to hit you with a. And I'm seeing all these girls damn near naked. I just started letting my mind go crazy.
Got to do it.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm on behalf of all of the women.
Yes.
Thank you for, seeing them and thinking of dual pleasure, and not just being pleased.
Yeah, well, and I thought that was light, man. I thought 69 wasn't like really bad because you had records come out like Downtown, somebody's knocking the boots. And 69 was easy. I'm going to hit you with, and I didn't think really the world knew what it really meant until you come out with a record and everybody starts saying, yeah. I was like, wow. I was like, okay.
They're like, we know what the hell that is.
Right.
Immediately.
So, that was your third album on Uptown. Was there another Uptown released album, or was that your last one?
That was my last album on Uptown. And then I just started doing stuff like me and Luke got together. Me and Luke, and we just, we did one-offs. Like, I think you should put a record out for me. He called me. All right, let's go get it. I don't feel like it today. And I did a lot of stuff with Luke. You know what I mean? And Tony Mercedes, I messed with. But
right.
I really, after the Uptown thing and I had a good time with Luke, I really wanted to chill. And I wanted to visit everywhere that I didn't visit. Because everywhere, when I was Father MC, I hated Hawaii. I hated coming to California. I just would come to Cali, get my bread, see y'all niggas later. Check the girls out, see y'all later. My mom's always told me, she said, you're going to end up living in California. And I was like, you want to bet some money? I knew I didn't. I hated Hawaii. Father MC, just doing him, goes to Hawaii. It's one of my best vacation spots in the world.
Which island you like the best?
To be honest with you, people think I bug out when I say this, but not Maui. I like Honolulu. And Kauai. I like Honolulu.
That's why Kauai is dope. Kauai is dope.
Hawaii is cool, but Maui was okay. Everybody, you got to, what you going for. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But Honolulu, it's like when I got off the plane, I'm here. And it was like, it was crazy because when I first went, it was raining and it just was pouring and then it stopped out of nowhere. Just stopped. And then, I love Hawaii, dude. I love Hawaii. I went 3 times last year and literally was getting ready to go again, but the pandemic, that came, so it messed me up. But I love Hawaii.
So when you took your, I guess, hiatus, or you stepped away from it, like you said, you didn't put out anything up from Uptown, you were doing these one-offs. How were you financially? Did you make enough? What you felt you should have made from Uptown, from shows where you were comfortable, that you didn't have to necessarily go out there and work?
You got to understand, I wrote every hit record I made.
Right.
Every hit record. I had 100% of my publishing. So a lot of people don't realize how really the publishing gig works.
Right.
You write your own shit and it becomes a hit. That's it for the rest of your life. And then the shows, like I do a show here, show there. You that's your source. But I, a long time ago, knew from Frank DeLeo when he told me, I remember hearing it, and I was an artist. I didn't want to hear this shit because I was making more than the president, and it's weird to say that.
Right.
And you saying to yourself, I make more than this dude. Like, for real, I make more than the president. You bug out to yourself when you really think about it, but in reality, you really make more than the president. and you think, not saying the president makes so much money, but there's people that make more than the president.
Uh-huh.
And he's the controller of everything. You get what I mean? So when I got into the real estate market, you know, and the Brown Investment Group is where you tear down houses and you hook them up. I didn't do anything that I couldn't get into and give it my all.
Right.
So, I mean, on the financial tip, I never really had a problem.
Okay. That's dope. That's dope, because a lot of artists.
I'm blessed, though. That's the thing.
I see you also blessed with a wedding ring there. Uh-huh.
I'm not married.
So,
I'm not married. This not a wedding ring, though.
It's not?
No. And let me clear this up, too. A lot of people say that, they say to me, yo, they come and give me love, too. Like, yo, you married Teresa Randall. I've never been married to Teresa Randall. I've never been married to Teresa. Me and Teresa used to get it in. I never was married to her. Teresa was a good friend, and we used to date. We went on some red carpets. Next thing you know, I hear in the media, yo, you married. Next thing you know, it's all on the internet. All MC married Teresa Randall. That's not true.
That definitely was out there.
I absolutely
but
believe
she's a beautiful person. She's a beautiful person, no shade or nothing. It's just that we weren't married at all.
Right.
Never thought about it, nothing. We had a lot of sex, but it wasn't no marriage.
Like for Hollywood, though. Hollywood was on you, wasn't it? Who else were you dating out there?
Celebrities?
Yes.
I mean, you know, I just have to say that.
Who I can ask. I need to know who I can ask and be like, so what was it like?
Well, I mean, I don't kiss and tell, you know, but I just was verifying that me and T wasn't married. But
right.
I had my fair share of Hollywood chicks. Like, I'm not mad at it.
I believe you.
But I was good to them, though. They won't have nothing bad. Wait.
One thing, you know, and obviously you stepped away from the music kind of for a minute, and you really kept like a real low profile, you know, until as of late, where we're starting to see you a little more. How did you manage to do that? Was that just done straight on purpose? And during that time, and you were still recording music, wasn't there a point where you recorded but not going under Father MC, and there was a label that was interested in you until they found out that it was Father MC?
That's a very specific question, Doc. Do you know something?
I was signed to Atlantic Records.
Okay.
I was signed to Atlantic Records out here, and that's when we was at the Evans Building, and everybody was hungry. I mean, you had everybody coming to the Evans Building, and I was like, I got into a hungry mode. Like, I'm gonna go back into the crates like I was when I was trying to become Father MC, and I wanted to prove to myself that I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I met my team I was with met, I think, Dorsey.
Dorsey Fuller.
Dorsey was
Dorsey Fuller.
Yeah, good guy. Good guy.
Yes, he's a great guy.
Dorsey took the thing
wasn't it Melee Records, I believe?
Melee Records, Atlantic.
Right.
Melee Atlantic. And recorded. Took the record, they signed me like this, gave me a lot of money. And now this is the funny shit. Leo Cohen gave Brian Turner the deal.
Right.
Leo Cohen always had it for me because I didn't sign to Def Jam. So, but they gave me the money.
Right.
And because when Leo found out it was me, it was a wrap. He was like, nah, he says that I could have came to him.
No, were you going under, was it Fan Body at the time?
It was Fan Body, but it was also AKA Fall MC.
So
like if you listen to the records,
right?
It was Fall, like, you know, I always scream Fall Out. You know what I'm saying?
So Brian Turner, so you're playing these records and they had no idea that it was you?
I didn't know that they didn't, to be honest with you. I didn't know they didn't. because I had this.
So you were always under the impression that they knew it was you.
I mean, you got Dorsey that knew who
Right.
MC was. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never give it I didn't know that Leon Cohen gave Brian Turner the deal, because I knew it wouldn't have flown if Leon knew. But now me and Leon like this now.
Right.
Me and Leon, he's on my podcast. You know what I'm saying? But he'll admit to you he did that because it was a block. You know what I mean? You know what going around, come
Leon
around.
was like, I love this. I want it now.
But for the record, I didn't shit on Leon. I just was a young kid that wanted it, and I think I made the best decision for me.
Absolutely.
What I fucked up on was Leon Cohen believed in me and spent record company money to get me out of a deal. Right. So basically, he showed me his hand,
right,
and I didn't show him mine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I had to eat that. But at the end of the day, they already gave me the bread. No harm, no foul. I ain't paying it back. Shit.
Right.
At the end of the day.
So how did you feel? Because you were saying that you felt like you wanted to get back in the studio and you wanted to feel like you still had it. Did you feel validated when they were interested in you and it had nothing to do with your name or whatever? It was just like the music was dope. Because I remember hearing it. I personally heard it. And it was dope. And then I heard the story that once they found out it was you, there was some, they did what they did. But did you feel validated? Like, I wanted to show folks that I was still Father MC, and
I didn't care.
You didn't care.
I didn't care. It wasn't about, like, when I make records, man, I never make records to show people anything. You know what I mean? I show people the talent, and I make records for them. I make records for everybody. I try to touch everybody. Like, I knew I wasn't, like, this new album, Black Disney, that I'm on, I wasn't gonna make an album. And then I said, God to tell me when it's time to, if I want to come back, I always can. You know what I mean? And then I got so many offers again that we didn't make that mistake. And we got offers again, and it's like, do I go independent? Do I do this label thing? And then Teddy, I was working with Teddy before the epidemic, like Christmas time. I was speaking to you because you were trying to get me on, and I was going to Teddy, working on the album. You were in Vegas a lot. In Vegas, yeah, because Teddy got his studio, his house is in Vegas. Right. And I'm going back there, and next thing you know, God just told me, go for it. Go for it. And I'm sitting here, and next thing you know, I got my studio. I'm like, you know what? Let's go. And I just started playing with it till it became a reality. You know what I'm saying? And the funk, like, in showing love, and it's like, let's go. So I'm like, let's go, let's get it. So now, 2020, you have a new single out, Dirty Business. Are you shooting a video for it? Like, what's the idea? Are you still trying to figure it out, or you have a plan already of how you want to move? Well, we get ready to meet with Dame Dash, like, when I get back. And it's a lot of other things on the table. Like, do I really want to take this independent thing on? Which everyone is telling me I should, but I'm used to the machine taking the wheel. Let me give y'all this, and y'all take the wheel, and y'all go ahead. Or it's time to do something different. So, only time will tell. I mean, I got enough time for the samples to clear, so I'm still waiting for that to clear. Right, so when that clears, it's a move, you know what I mean? Right. So the single is featuring is Brienne? Yeah, that's my artist, Brienne. I was gonna ask. So Brienne, what's her story? This is the artist that signed to you? Yeah, and she's from Oakland. Okay. Beautiful spirit too. Nice. All right. So Smooth D has that. Smooth D, I know we're gonna play Father's new single. So what else is going on? Last question for me. Go ahead, Marlo. Go ahead.
You said that the project that you're working on is called Black Disney? Yes. Why Black Disney? Do you have a deal with Disney Plus? Like, what's going on?
I wish I did. I wish I did.
Beyonce hooked it up.
I always love Disney World.
All the coins everywhere else. He didn't got mad money from all these dang on labels. Might as well get some from Disney.
Hey, it's not like shot out. It's not done yet. I always loved Disney when I was a kid. And I always got tired of seeing white people. When you think of Disney or something that you love, you always got to think of white people. And I one day just let my mind go somewhere, and all I saw was Disney World, and with successful Black people, successful Asian people, successful Hispanics. And that was my Disney World, my imagination. So when I said the next thing I ever do, I'm going to name it Disney, have something to do with Disney. And of course, what's better to put than us, Black Disney?
Wow.
Like, she looked like she fit in Black Disney.
There you go.
Yeah, there she is.
Yes, because listen, I'm one of the princesses with the braids and the beads from Compton. You hear me?
That part. That part.
All right. So
Princess Shauna.
brand new single. We're gonna support it. Smooth D is gonna put it in the mix. We're gonna let folks know about it. How can folks find you on Instagram and that stuff? I see you. It's funny because I think I saw you put up a post like, I'm new to Instagram, so you just now getting your feet wet with that.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I loved me Facebook, but everybody for years was saying, yo, the gram. And I was like, whatever. And I just put it up just to see, and I like the gram now.
Dope. So let folks know how they can find you on Instagram, Facebook, so they can keep up with you.
Facebook, you can find me under Timothy Brown, and Instagram, you can find me at The Real Father MC.
That's what it is. AM Caffeine Show. Father MC, man, once again, I appreciate you rocking with us. We've been trying to make this happen. I'm glad that we finally did. And I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to tell you how influential your music was for me, you know, coming up in that era, and how you were always able to balance being fly, because you wore the suits, but dudes still rock with you. They didn't look at you like you were corny, and obviously still roll with you. So to have that balance and keep it authentic and still be you was really dope, man. So I want to commend you and thank you for everything that you did for the culture, man. For real, for real. Marlo, anything to say in closing?
Yes. I want to know if you're dating.
No.
Go ahead and throw your shot there, Marlo J.
Why you do that, y'all?
Marlo's a beautiful woman.
Oh!
I knew y'all was gonna go there.
Let's go!
I knew y'all was gonna go there. Y'all crazy.
Instagram again? What's the Instagram again?
At The Real Father MC. It's the
goes down. Hey, Father, you know, it goes down in the DM.
It goes down.
DM.
It goes down.
I'm gonna slide in and be like, hey, big head.
AM Caffeine Show. It's my man, Father MC. Make sure you follow the AM Caffeine Show at AM Caffeine Show. You know, we rock each and every Wednesday and Friday. Father MC, thank you so much, man. I support you any way that I can. Good luck to all your endeavors. It's the AM Caffeine Show. We out. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace. Thanks for having me.